Welcome to Cinema Chop Shop. Watch, chop, retrofit.
Tupac
or heart. These dreams. Ever noticed in dreams that your feet never touch the earth?
Did you see that playlist I sent you today? It was all dream songs.
Yes.
Isn't that great?
Yes, that's fucking fantastic.
Are we recording?
Yeah.
Okay.
Saw some really good movies this week.
Sweet.
You saw one that I saw.
I loved that movie like B-list celebrities love cocaine.
Talk to me.
Talk to me.
Those
I loved
Aussies,
it like R. Kelly loves vinyl sheets.
Dude, those Aussies go hard on the horror.
Everybody I've talked to who's seen it says it's the best horror movie of the year.
Yep.
And I think I would have to agree. I was going back and looking, and I can't think of one that was better.
It's top notch.
Yeah, very good. Talk to me.
Oh, people are here. Hi, welcome to Cinema Chop Shop.
Living the dream with triple beams and my pockets bulging.
It's just Travis and me today.
That's right.
And we've been dreaming of this episode for a while.
Sweet dreams.
Hope it's not a nightmare.
I have a dream. Wait, no.
No.
So the premise behind this episode is that you and I are both very active and vivid dreamers.
Correct.
Which is not the case with everybody, which kind of surprises me. It's kind of like when you figure out that there's some people who are colorblind or whatever. But we decided that we should start doing a correspondence, right?
Yeah.
Hashtag DJ or Dream Journal.
Yeah.
And when we have a super fucked up dream that needs to be recorded, we report back to each other.
Yes, and so periodically throughout the episode, we'll read the other person's dream,
right,
and get the hot take on what was going on there.
And I haven't really looked back at the ones I've sent you, but I did look at a few of the ones you sent me, and there is some hot takes.
Now, do you come from a family of vivid dreamers?
My mom is.
Okay,
yes.
So is mine. And my sister is as well.
So I wonder if it's something hereditary.
I don't know, but for the longest time, going back to my childhood, we would share our dreams with one another, and they were pretty outlandish.
Yeah.
And there's some that I remember that I won't repeat here on the podcast.
Oh, there's definitely some that I can't talk about.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are the ones that you don't hashtag DJ.
So anyway, we're talking about dream movies, and there have been a ton of great dream movies throughout film history. I think probably one of the most iconic, and I'm sorry, I'm going to rain on your parade because you have your list of movies, but most iconic being Wizard of Oz.
And you were there.
Yeah, and you were there.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the SNL sketch with the little people where it says, and were we there too, Dorothy?
No. Yeah, that's pretty good. And surprisingly, that movie is not on this list.
Yeah.
So.
Tons and tons of great dream movies. Dreams are a fun plot device. You can center an entire film around dreams and living in the dream world and doing things in the dream world, or simply dreams affecting decision-making or perceptions and things like that. Dreams, where do they come from? What are they? Are they our subconscious way of processing the day's events?
I think that's one of the most accepted.
Going back to the ancient Israelites, I mean, visions from the Lord.
Right.
That's where a lot of prophecy things come from. Are things happening in the dreaming? So there's a huge bandwidth in terms of what can be done with dreams in films, and we're going to touch on a few of those today. We do have one
in particular
feature presentation that we're going to talk about that I hope you enjoyed it.
I did. I loved it like R. Kelly loves vinyl sheets.
Okay. You're going to keep hitting that one, huh? So anyway,
we have to assume though that as long as people have been people, that people have had dreams, right?
Yeah.
And can you imagine like human beings before the discovery of fire, how mystified they must have been about this seeming like vision.
Yeah.
It's movies before movies.
Right, exactly. And I kind of would like to talk to somebody who, like a anthropologist, about what role did they play in like early man,
right?
That couldn't distinguish between reality and fantasy or conscious and subconscious. Would they wake up from a dream and realize that Kaga had slept with his woman,
right,
and kill him, but it was only a dream? But he doesn't know that. So there's a lot of
and of course there is the trope about spouses dreaming about infidelity and then being mad when they wake up, as though their spouse actually did something.
And of course there's the old trope as well: if you die in a dream, you die in real life.
Right? Not true.
Because I'm still here.
All right. So that being said, should we look at this list?
Yeah. Go ahead and hit me with yours. I've got a few as well. I want to see if there's how much overlap we've got.
All right. So this is from an article by Hannah Saab and Kendra DeMeo from Collider.com, and it's entitled "The 10 Best Movies About Dreams and Nightmares According to Reddit." And it was updated March 24th, 2023. And I don't think these are in any particular order. I don't think it's a ranked list. I think it's just 10 of the best.
Okay.
The first one is Source Code.
Yeah.
Source Code.
I had forgotten about Source Code until I reread the synopsis.
And it's interesting because it uses more of a, quote, simulation than a dream as the cornerstone of the plot, but there's a lot of parallels.
Yep.
I really liked that movie. In fact, I need to go back and watch it.
Gyllenhaal, right?
Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal. Yeah. Next, we've got 1951's Alice in Wonderland. Alice in Wonderland, very similar vibe to the Wizard of Oz thing you were talking about.
I've actually got them side by side on my list.
It's a quintessential movie in the age-old trope of waking up where the story has been all just a dream. It was all a dream. So yeah, Wonderland, dreams can be a Wonderland. I think there's stories about Lewis Carroll being an opium user, and that influencing his take on this. But just the idea of being in a dream and anything is possible.
Yep.
So far, we got any crossovers? Besides?
Oh, plenty. I've got all three of those. So.
Okay. And next, we've got A Nightmare on Elm Street,
of course,
1984. Now, this is not the Dream Warriors installment of Nightmare on Elm Street. That was one, right?
Yes.
I didn't dream that.
No, that's the third one, I think.
Okay, so this is 1984, the original. Whatever you do, don't fall asleep. And this is Inception before Inception. Freddy can only kill you in your dreams.
And Home Alone before Home Alone.
Yeah, true. Next, this one was kind of surprising to me. The Babadook.
Yep, got it on my list too.
The Babadook, 2014. It follows a newly widowed mother, Essie, and her son. It's one of the few horror movies that nobody actually gets killed.
Yep.
Everybody's just kind of haunted. And then you've got the Insidious series, and is Insidious part of a bigger universe?
Yeah,
like like James Wan and all of those.
Yeah.
So there's that one. I've never actually seen Insidious.
I saw this one and it was kind of forgettable for me, but I do remember the dream aspect of it.
So Patrick Wilson and Rose Byrne. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of, because Patrick Wilson is in all of those movies where
the
Conjuring,
the Paranormal Investigators.
Yeah, okay, so they're not related. Insidious and The Conjuring, as far as I know. Next one. This is a movie that I loved when it came out. It's called The Cell.
I know, right? I think you and I had the same list. Okay.
The year 2000, The Cell.
It's J-Lo, right?
J-Lo, Vincent D'Onofrio, and Vince Vaughn. And she is she's trying to take a twisted trip into a serial killer's psyche by entering his dreams.
The whole movie plays out like a really lame Evanescence video.
So it is a very visually stimulating movie.
Yeah, it's
I
very.
think that was one of the things that I liked about it.
Yeah, it's like a music video. A lot of over the top visuals, a lot of grand scale kind of sets.
Maybe almost like a modern Jodorowsky.
Yeah, exactly.
Situation.
Yeah, good call on that. Yep.
Next, we've got 2021's Last Night in Soho.
God, I like
Edgar
that movie.
Wright.
I like that movie.
Yeah, it was good. It didn't get as much traction as some of his other films, and it's probably just because Simon Pegg wasn't in it. You can watch that on HBO Max, though. Oh, apparently there's a tag where you can watch all these things. You can watch The Cell on Hoopla.
Hoopla.
Next, we've got a anime called Paprika.
Yeah, Paprika's cool.
Paprika. Now, is this... Okay, it is Studio Ghibli. Oh, no, it's an anime film outside Studio Ghibli. And it says it has influenced other popular films like Christopher Nolan's Inception, which I think we're going to mention here in a minute. And I haven't seen Paprika.
I have, and it's...
Now, I say that, but I'll go look, and I watched it 3 years ago.
It really pushes the investigation side of things that Inception also is a bit of like investigating through dreams. This one has more of like a procedural investigator type storyline, like you'd expect on like a Law and Order kind of thing.
Okay, procedural.
Yeah, that's the way I looked at it.
That's cool. Then next, we've got the aforementioned Inception, which I think was pretty groundbreaking, both in terms of concept and special effects. That movie is crazy.
Yep.
And give it to Christopher Nolan for pushing the boundary of yet another genre. Like right now, even talking about it, I can hear those like bass horns, wong, and then like things folding in on
over,
themselves, and the totems. It's just a really good movie.
Some cool stuff in there. Any others on the list?
We've got one more, and it's the one that we're going to talk about.
Okay, we'll shelf that one. In the Inception Paprika lineup, I also have a third movie. It's Linkletter's Waking Life.
Waking Life is good, and then that was like rotoscope or something, right?
Yeah. It was.
So it's actual actors, but then animation is overlaid on top of them.
Yeah, it's like the a Scanner Darkly. I think it's very much like that. Some others that deserve to be mentioned but aren't on the list, because I think obviously I had the same list you did. Vanilla Sky.
Oh, wow.
Is one that could be mentioned. And then there's a classic one, 8.5.
8.5. This is the Fellini movie?
Yes.
I'm not 100% sure I've seen this.
Oh, God. It's a great one. It's a movie about a director making a film.
Okay.
And it's this grand scale type film, this giant scaffoldy set out in the middle of nowhere. And dreams play a huge part in the narrative.
So it's almost like the actual filmmaker's dream or fantasy of what filmmaking is.
Yep, totally. So that's just a sampling. I mean, we could go on and on digging up other movies that involve dreams.
And if you really think about it, the cinema wouldn't exist if people didn't dream, because it's a way of immersing yourself in a story that's beyond your control, which is the same thing that happens when I dream. Now, we don't really want to go down the rabbit hole of what's the term for it, where you can realize you're dreaming while you're dreaming.
Oh, lucid dreaming.
Lucid dreaming. I envy people who can do that.
Yeah, I would much rather be immersed.
Yeah.
Quite frankly. I've had the lucid dreams, and they can be a letdown when you're kind of gaming the system.
Gotcha.
I think it affects your sleep, too.
All right, then the last one on this list is the one that we're going to talk about today, called Dreamscape from 1984.
1984.
Before we get into it, do you want to read me an
I
entry?
know. I'm chomping at the bit to do a dream journal entry.
Yes.
All right, so this is going to be your first dream journal that you sent to me from August 9th.
Yes.
Had a dream that I made out with Martin Fulmer's, that's Todd's brother,
Yes.
girlfriend
friend of the show and sometimes guest Todd, his brother Martin.
He found out and tackled me and forced a mealworm up my nose.
That is correct.
Any commentary on that?
Well, I mean, it's not that uncommon for me to have dreams where I'm like making out or hooking up with somebody who I shouldn't be. I think that's a fairly normal thing for men to do. But the fact that it was somebody who adjacent to somebody that I know, and then the mealworm really threw me for a loop. It was like, oh, you're gonna fuck my girl? I'll fuck your nose. So what do I have for you? I need to go back a little ways. I think that I don't know how to search the hashtag.
I clicked the little 3 buttons in the top right corner, and it came up with a little search. And the hashtag DJ, and it only, and you can, I think by default mine called up just yours.
All right, so I've got, this is from Shawn on August 10th, the next day. I dreamt I received a phone call from a florist about a visitation time at a funeral home, but they wouldn't tell me who died.
No, that's you.
Turns out it was my maternal grandfather who died when I was in high school.
Oh shit, that is me.
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot I even had that dream. Wow.
This is fun.
Oh yeah, yep. It's exactly like I described it. It was weird. They wouldn't tell me who died.
Maybe they thought you wouldn't go.
I don't know.
You want to do another one?
Yeah, let's do another one. All right,
Okay.
this one's from you. I was an active participant in a large-scale civilian gunfight. Mm-hmm. I managed to make it out alive on a sailboat.
Yeah. Nice.
That's some James Bond shit.
Yeah. Wow. That's interesting. My sailboats have come up at work recently.
All right, hit me with one.
All right. I was issued an early gen iPhone as my next phone, clunky and small.
Yeah, it was my office pays for my phone. And so back in the day, you would just get whatever you get before there was a lot of choices. But in this particular dream, I was given this chunky. When I say chunky, I mean it was like a brick. It was like the small iPods, and it was fat.
Okay.
And I was really disappointed as to why I got it. All right, so let's we'll put a pin in that. We'll come back to it whenever we need a break from the masterpiece that is Dreamscape.
Dreamscape from 1984. I watched it for the first time for the second time yesterday. And I was kind of impressed. It is, maybe I don't want to say underrated, but underappreciated.
I think underapprciated is a good term for it. I saw it as a child.
Okay.
I watched it at the Columbus, Mississippi Air Force Base Rec Center.
Wow.
My grandparents used to do square dancing.
Hell yeah.
And sometimes
spin your partner round and round.
Yeah, very much. And sometimes my parents would like say, "Here, keep the boy," and I would go to these square dance things in the most remote, weird, fucked up places. But the ones I always got excited about were the ones they were doing at the Air Force Base because the rec center had an arcade.
Cool.
And my grandfather would let me raid his chest. He had like a little chest that he would just toss his change in.
Yes.
And so I would just scoop up all the quarters.
Yes.
And as I was playing these video games, Dreamscape was playing on the screen overhead.
That's super cool.
Now, Dreamscape, of course, is one of the early PG-13 movies.
And they get away with 2 or 3 fuck bombs.
Yeah, they do. And this was in 84, the same year that Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom came out.
And the cover art is kind of Indiana Jones-esque.
I was going to point that out.
Yes.
And it has
Kate
Capshaw in
inventor of the Capshaw.
Right.
Are You a Human?
So let's talk about that cast for a second. We've got Dennis Quaid in the lead role. Kate Capshaw is the romantic interest, which I'm going to talk about that in a second.
And then somehow they got both Max von Sydow and Christopher Plummer in the same movie.
Crazy.
Was Hammer on strike.
Right? And then you have George Wendt in the film.
Norm!
He's an author / conspiracy theorist.
Yes.
And then the president is played by Eddie Albert, who you would know from Green Acres.
Okay, I wouldn't know him from Green Acres. I've never seen Green Acres, but he did look familiar.
Yeah, the whole time
he
I was
does
like,
kind
who
of
is
look
that guy?
presidential too.
Yeah, he did a good job.
Yeah.
So the premise.
So let's break it down. We start out in a nightmare. It's a nuclear holocaust nightmare that the president is having. And this is the crux of the whole situation, is that the president is having these debilitating nightmares, and the powers that be are afraid that he's going to make a deal with the Russians to avert a nuclear war.
The biggest stretch in this movie is that the president has a conscience.
Right. And then we go to Dennis Quaid, who is a psychic. He's an out-of-work psychic.
He's a psychic grifter.
Yeah, he's at the tracks. He's gambling. He's at the casino. He's gambling. He's always hitting it on the money, which of course runs him afoul with the wrong type of people. The people who want a piece. They want to get their beak wet.
Yeah, the leg breakers are after him.
Uh-huh.
And then he's approached by these two men
Who claim to be from a university.
Thornhill College.
Yes. And at first he's very skeptical and is blowing them off, but then he sees the muscle headed his way and he decides to go ahead and jump in the car, thinking that he's just getting away from them at the moment, but can walk away from all of this at any time.
So he gets to the university. He sees his friend, played by Max von Sydow.
Yep.
They're old associates. I didn't know you were in this gig. Cool. Mm-hmm. And the program that this university is supposedly funding is utilizing psychics to enter the dreams and nightmares of their subjects and try to interface with them and ultimately help them out.
Once again, Inception before Inception.
Correct. Now, I must say that the contraption that they sit in,
ridiculous.
It looked like two dental chairs seated side by side, and with some little wires going up into like
some
a little
Ethernet cables.
Ethernet cables,
and then a lot of electrodes.
with stuck on with Scotch tape, which I thought was a poor choice.
And I get that they need to monitor the vitals and everything, but the movie kind of made it seem like those electrodes were integral to the scientific experimental process.
And so there's another psychic on the program. His name is Tommy Ray. He's got a serial killer name, Tommy Ray something.
Yeah.
From the word go, you know this is the villain.
He's a bad guy.
He just looks like an Eddie Haskell, just a bad egg.
Yeah.
And he is cocky. He's arrogant. He's clearly a psychopath.
And do we reveal his actual motives?
Well, maybe a little bit.
Okay.
Now, there were some cool things in here in some of these dream sequences. We're talking practical effects here. The dream with, I guess it was Buddy's dream, the little boy.
With the Snake Man.
With Snake Man, who looked like a He-Man action figure. But
there's different shots of the Snake Man. There's one where it's clearly a person in a costume, but then there's others that look like Ray Harryhausen stop motion.
Yeah, it looks like a sculpt. But there are some cool shots with the doors slightly at like these weird angles, like the door frames are slightly askew, almost like a Tim Burton-esque.
You know what it reminded me of is that vignette in the Twilight Zone movie.
Oh yeah. The
one where the little boy,
the crazy house, the cartoon house, the zigzag stairs going off into infinity. There's some really neat stuff going on there. I'm sorry, I took notes as I was watching, so we're kind of jumping around. I'll come back to some of these other details, but ultimately, you've got a good scientist in Max von Sydow. He's trying to do the good work, and then you have Christopher Plummer, who ultimately has an agenda.
Yeah, he's one of those men in power who has ulterior intentions.
And as it turns out, Tommy the Psycho is kind of his operative.
Right. He's been embedded in the program.
And
we haven't mentioned Kate Capshaw, though.
Well, yeah,
she's like the assistant to Max von Sydow, the lab assistant. And Dennis Quaid, being Dennis Quaid, immediately starts trying to put the moves on her, which she resists at first.
She resists, and and I think it's clear that that there is some attraction between them. But she says, no,
it's a conflict of interest.
It's a conflict of interest. Got to keep it professional. And he's a psychic, so he can pick up on her thoughts, and that's an unfair advantage.
And he also enters her dream at one point.
I was going to get to that. This is where Dennis Quaid becomes a sex predator.
Yeah, a dream sex predator.
So I guess the question is, if you can enter somebody's dream and manipulate their dreams, and you are a sex predator in their dream, does that make you a sex predator?
That's really like walking a fine line.
Well, that's kind of
But
how
it was 1984, and attitudes were very different about consent at the time.
Well, it's kind of how the movie ends as well, in that Christopher Plummer, everyone knows what he was doing, but it all happened in dreams, so you can't do anything to Christopher Plummer because it didn't really happen.
Right.
So...
do you know how crazy that sounds?
So you wonder, is Dennis Quaid a sex predator? I think his intent was there.
She says, what you did was wrong, but we have to admit we both kind of wanted it a little bit.
Yeah, see, she really muddied the waters there, didn't she?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I wanted to talk about a few things. Have we covered the plot?
I think so.
I don't want to give away the ending, but it involves the president.
The president is having nightmares, and he eventually enters this program.
Right. Under the cover of night and
at the behest of Christopher Plummer's character.
Sure. And so he's in the crosshairs. Christopher Plummer wants him gone, I guess. For whatever reason.
And he's already got a man inside.
And so we have the conflict of Dennis Quaid versus Tommy.
Is it Tommy?
It's Tommy.
Okay.
Tommy Ray, Tommy Lee. Look it up. It's something stupid. So that's the basic premise. But there are some cool details in this movie that I thought were hilarious, and some were actually pretty good. Did you notice the village pub? There's like a bar scene.
Yeah.
And everybody's wearing like red T-shirts with white letters. It says Village Pub. And it's in the font Cooper Black.
Yeah, I like Cooper.
And it's the most bland, basic shirts. And they're all wearing them.
It's like a beer can that says beer on it.
If you notice at the bar, there's a shadow box framed up against the wall where the shirts are for sale.
Okay.
That was their merch, man. They wanted people to buy those shitty shirts.
And everybody was, apparently.
I thought that was one of the funniest
Would you wear
things.
a shirt that had Village Pub in Cooper Black font?
I mean, I would wear it today, ironically.
Yes.
But back then, they thought they were
Do you wear
hot
T-shirts
shit.
unironically?
I mean, sometimes. There's some costumes. The costume that Dennis Quaid was wearing in the dream where he was the sex predator, it was a fucking white shirt.
Yeah, it was
unbuttoned to his belly with white pants.
It was very Don Johnson.
It was very, very skeezy. I didn't like that at all.
But that was him in her dream. So is that what she perceived as like sexy attire, or was that what he perceived as that?
Oh yeah, totally. The big logistics question, the fact that a university is funding this.
Right.
Not only are they funding the program, but apparently they're putting the psychics up in their own like dorm.
But at one point, Christopher Plummer says, "And you got everything you wanted."
Yes.
Meaning that he's providing funding.
But there were 2 deaths in the study, not unrelated to the president. Somebody died before Dennis Quaid even got there. Mm-hmm. And then there was a woman who was killed.
And that was practice
run.
Yeah.
Yet this still received funding. Like the university didn't raise an eyebrow. I guess that money talks and bullshit walks.
Yeah.
Tommy the Psycho was really big into ninjas.
He loved Bruce Lee movies.
He had posters on his wall of not only just Bruce Lee, but ninjas. And there was like a catalog from like a ninja magazine with various throwing stars.
Yeah. And he is a lucid dreamer.
Yes.
Because he realizes that it's a dream. You can do anything you want. And in the first, like, conflict between Dennis Quaid and him in the Dreamscape, he's got these, like, laser nunchucks.
Yep.
Right? They look like two lightsabers connected as nunchucks.
So funny. There was my favorite line in the movie, and this is, I forgot who said it, but the president was there, and they were like, "President of the United States?"
No, the president of the Homeowners Association.
One thing I did want to point out, and this is funny because it came out in '84, as did Nightmare on Elm Street.
As did Temple of Doom.
There was a scene where Tommy holds up his hand and snicks out his fingernails.
Yes.
And they turn into finger blades, like Freddy.
Like Freddy.
And he even says, follows it up with like a pun. Like, oh God, I've lost the pun.
Well, he takes the heart out of somebody. He rips their heart out and he says, I guess he didn't have the heart or something like that.
Yep. So I thought that was interesting. Same year, they couldn't have known what each other was doing because of the production schedules. Clearly, both of these movies took a little while to make because there was a lot of special effects involved.
And it's kind of interesting that they both kind of took shape in separate, isolated environments at the same time.
Yeah.
It's like two people who have the same dream on the same night.
Hey. Well, speaking of dreams, you want to read some dream journals?
Yeah, man. You give me one and then I'll follow up with one from you.
All right, let's see. The last one I read was that one. Okay. Oh God, this is a good one. All right, so this is August 15th. I was visiting a high school friend in the Asheville area, and we got separated. I got in what I thought was an Uber, and the driver tried to molest me.
Yeah.
I had to jump out of the car before he did worse. Worse than what?
Worse than trying.
Okay.
This is why I didn't want your psychologist friend to chime in on these. Like, let me just go on record and say that I was never molested, but that doesn't mean I haven't had dreams where I was. My next one from you is, this is August 12th. I was in this movie, gritty, scummy underworld. I was king, and my underlings were knocking off rivals for me. We would meet in nasty men's rooms for updates. There was always a homeless guy sleeping on the floor and a malnourished bear walking around. I had a katana. The entire time they were killing my rivals, I knew one of them would eventually come after me.
That pretty much sums it up, man. And it's kind of funny. The visuals in that dream very much mimic the visuals from Dreamscape.
Yes.
Wow. All right, here's one from you. I was in college and I was putting in work trying to date this chick. Things ended when she told me, "I never said I loved you. I just love the way you are." The fuck?
Yeah. It's like one of the worst things that somebody can say to you is that they don't love you. Not that they don't say they do love you, but that they actively don't love you.
Wow. All right, hit me with another one.
A friend from grad school was running for president of the United States.
Grade school. I did not go to grad school.
Oh, grade school. Sorry. But he had no social media accounts, so I had to set them all up for him. I felt rather put upon, even though I wanted him to succeed.
Obviously a work-related dream, because this guy was so unprepared, and I was like, oh, fine, I'll do your damn social media for you.
Should we do a beer check-in?
Yeah, a beer check-in sounds great.
We've got one called Giggle Juice. Giggle Juice from Unknown Brewing, and it's got a laughing Buddha on the cover art. And when I bought it, the guy who was standing next to the cashier looked at him and said, "I didn't know they put you on the can."
Oh.
And I was like, whoa! He took it pretty well, though. So we're going to crack that open. Pouring.
So Unknown is in Charlotte, and I did not know they were still in business. these guys had a choice location just near the football stadium.
Okay.
And,
Panther?
Yeah, and then the space itself's pretty nice. They have arcade games, like classic arcade games, which is kind of a cool thing to have, I think.
I don't think I've been there.
It's been ages since I've been.
It's been. No go?
The carbonation is exactly as I remember it.
Okay.
It's aggressive.
Yeah, aggressive carbonation. It says hazy, but it looks pretty cloudy to me.
There's some really aggressive flavors in this once you get past the carbonation.
Yeah, not a favorite.
Kind of some grassy, the grassiness of the hops is not in line with the style that they're shooting for. Obviously you want more of a fruitier, mellow hop.
Yeah.
These are more like your old pine resin kind of hops from back in the day.
And that would be fine for a West Coast IPA, but not for a New England. Yeah, that's not great.
It's the carbonation that's really it's in the way of anything that you want to taste in the beer. That's unfortunate.
They can't all be winners.
No, they can't.
But I'm not giggling either.
No, I'm not either. So yeah, we liked Dreamscape. Dreamscape was good.
Yeah.
I think that the Rotten Tomatoes on it's pretty high.
Yeah, that's why I said not necessarily underrated, but underappreciated, or maybe even underseen.
I think it's like a 65 maybe on Rotten Tomatoes.
I think it could be a little bit higher.
Yeah,
I think they could go up to like 70. But as we've said, Rotten Tomatoes is not the be-all, end-all of film assessment.
I do like the practical effects. One thing I would like to see improved upon if this movie were to be magically remade, the keyboard soundtrack was atrocious.
Oh, there was also, during the lovemaking scene, there was organ music playing. Michelle pointed it out. My lovely wife, Michelle. She was like, so, organ music, huh?
Yeah. Otherwise, the music is all
Yep.
like high end, just up on the
Well, they were trying
right side
to
of the
impress
keyboard.
upon the viewer that they were at the height of technology.
Technology, yes, exactly. I always like coming back to it. I had not seen this movie in quite some time.
I hadn't seen it in 5 years.
So the cast was a surprise to me. I'd forgotten that some of the people that were in it. Oh, one thing that they missed an opportunity to expand upon Max von Sydow's character was to have a dream sequence for him.
Yeah, that would have been good.
Because he just gets tossed out a window or the thugs end up killing him.
Yeah, they don't actually show his death. They show his body in the trunk.
So it's a shame that they did not have Tommy attack him in his sleep. You had a golden opportunity for a Seventh Seal callback.
Yes.
You could have had Max von Sydow sitting at a chessboard and some robed figure comes along to play him, and it's Tommy, and he kills him.
That's wild.
That would have made the movie for me. I would have jumped out of my seat going, look at it. So,
I'd say it's a recommend.
It's definitely a recommend. It's always good to see.
If you haven't seen it or forgot that you watched it as part of a 2021 or 2019, 2018, I watched it in 2018 movie marathon, and I have to give credit to my wife. She was like, well, the reason you don't remember it is because you watched over 300 movies that year.
Yeah.
And that's what happens.
It is easy to lose track. We got some time left.
Okay, we got more Dream Journal entries.
We can do some Dream Journals. We could also talk about some of the fun movies that we've seen lately.
Let's do a few more Dream Journal entries, and then we'll do movie check-ins.
Do it. Is it your turn to read to me?
All right, yes. I was back in college as my present self. I was in the dorm showing the freshmen the ropes of how to be resourceful with limited space and funds. It was early in the semester, and there was an orientation mixer at Seminar's new location on campus. When I arrived, it was too small for such an event, and FMU faculty had grabbed all the seats. So typical. Which is actually what I replied to you.
You did, yes. I don't have any other comment about it other than, you know what I'm saying though, like
Yes.
when in dorms, the egg crate construction and trying to make the most out of the space that you've been given. But
It's the original tiny home.
but it is, yeah. But the mixer, that was the thing where I was like, it's off campus. It's just like adjacent to campus. And I'm like, oh, this is a pretty nice space. It's a little small, though, and there are no seats for the students. Look at those faculty members. They're all just lounging over there in the corner kind of
Kicking
thing.
back.
Yeah, exactly.
Living the dream.
Yeah. And why would they want to do a mixer with the students anyway?
Oh, should that be the name of the episode? Living the dream?
Living the dream. I was thinking Dream Warriors.
Or Wet Dreams May Come.
Oh, God. All right. For you, this is a short one. I was a park ranger giving tours of this place, which was right up the road from us in New Mexico.
Now, it's a real place. It's the Bandera Volcano and Ice Caves. It's right along the Continental Divide in Cibola County, New Mexico. And I've been there like one time, but it shows up in my dreams more often
It must have
than
made
that.
a huge impression with you.
I guess.
Or when
It's a vortex?
Or when you visited, it was like a pivotal time in your life.
Maybe. I don't know. But it definitely shows up. And like in my dream, it's more grandiose than it was in reality. Like in my dream, it's this long, like Guggenheim spiral drive into the crater.
I love it.
Let's see here.
Oh, there's another one from you. Oh, God.
Okay, do it.
For some reason, I had my sister do my taxes. She came back and said I owed $500,000. I was like, I don't think so. But my parents were all like, yeah, probably.
That's just one of those IRS anxiety dreams, right?
Yeah. And you've had, not any fault of your own, you've had some issues with a few withholdings from various employers.
All right, this is from you. I dreamt FMU had a group of Asian science students who had made significant scientific breakthroughs. They discovered how to use algae to greatly increase vegetable growth and output. Then they discovered how to grow plants on a brick.
Obviously a dream, because Francis Marion would not have those students.
Man, I've got a bunch more from you.
I think I was on a roll. Around this time, I was doing a little bit of jogging. And I think when I exercise more, my dreams become even more vivid.
It's like it shakes up the brain juice.
I don't know. Yeah, something about thinking clearly and exercise.
All right, so hashtag DJ from Shawn. I was at a local bar when they opened in the morning to get a beer. One of my friends from college showed up. This guy isn't a morning person. I asked why he was up so early. He said he'd been out all night and needed my help rubbing the stamp on his hand off from the club the night before. I knew where the bar kept their bar rags and wet one down. And Scatman Carruthers was there asking me what I was doing.
Scatman Carruthers, of course, the guy from The Shining.
You better make it shine, boy.
Yeah, that was strange.
You got any more from me?
Did you go quiet? Wow. Here we go. This is one from you. In real life, I saw a video of a truck with full end-to-end roll bars do a front flip. So in my dream, I decided to try it with a regular SUV. Did not go as well.
No. And it was fucked up, too, because in my dream, I knew that I had done it on purpose. But in the aftermath, I was like, I don't know what happened.
All right, pick a good one.
All right. Dreamt the dogs dug a hole in the back corner of the yard. There was snow on the ground, and a group of animals were gathered around staring at the corner. Owl, squirrel, bear, others. I went to the corner to investigate and fill the hole. My neighbor had a freshly killed deer awkwardly positioned on a platform just out of reach. I tried to get the dogs inside so they wouldn't chase the other animals and ended up letting the bear in instead.
Yeah, that's what happened. It was an obscene amount of snow for South Carolina. The deer was positioned in such a way that his legs were like broken up.
Splayed?
No, it was like he was creating almost like a box shape.
Okay, weird.
And the deer was upright.
It's kind of creepy.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy. But the bear getting in the house, that was the end of the dream. And yeah, not a good scene for me at all.
Well, that's all I've got from you.
Yeah.
I think the roll bars one was the last one I sent you too.
Yeah, I like that one though. I could totally see you doing that.
So in real life, I was looking at Reddit or whatever, and I clicked on this thing, and it was a truck that literally had like rainbow style roll bars from the front grille to the back bumper, parallel with the vehicle.
Okay.
And they got at the top of a hill, and they started going down the hill, and then they hit the brakes. And when they hit the brakes, the forward momentum made them roll over, and they rolled the entire way and landed back on their tires.
I bet that's fun as hell.
It sounds fun.
Totally.
But you have to have those roll bars. Those are very important.
What SUV were you driving?
Oh, it was a red Jeep Cherokee, which I've never owned.
What year?
I would say probably a 98.
Oh, yeah. Boxy, but good.
Very boxy.
Oh, wow. All right, so those were our dreams. Damn.
Yep.
I've had more, but I can't talk about them here.
Yeah, there's definitely ones that I can't talk about. And also, do you ever, like, wake up after a dream and be like, why the fuck did your brain think that stuff?
Oh, yeah, totally, all the time.
I almost feel guilty sometimes about like the shit that my brain does when I'm not in charge.
Sometimes I have dreams that were so outlandish, like my brain feels like scrambled eggs when I come out of it, and I try to kind of piece them together, but the parts just start fading away.
Yeah.
And if you can't make sense of it, you just have to let it go.
And that's kind of the thing, is that if you don't think about it right away and like remember it, and I think that this was a very good exercise in recording it while we were remembering it, it does just kind of dissipate into the ether.
Oh yeah.
And I think that the people who say that they don't remember their dreams, that just happens more rapidly. Like as soon as they wake up, it's gone.
I agree. I think that the less you think about it, probably the better.
They say that Einstein used to, and this could have gotten convoluted over time, but he used to fall asleep in a chair with something heavy in his hand. Mm-hmm. And as he would fall asleep, that thing would fall to the floor, waking him up, and he would jot down whatever he was dreaming. That could totally be an urban legend.
I've heard the same
Isaac
story.
Newton. It was an apple in his hand. Dreamy.
Dreamy. Yeah, baby.
Dream a little dream of me.
Oh, God. We could talk about songs about dreams.
Oh, speaking of, plug. I got a plug.
Go for it.
I'm plugging the playlist that I used at Trivia this past week in honor of this episode. It's movies about dreams and nightmares. Songs about dreams and nightmares. And you can find it. It's a public playlist under the YouTube account Travisito. Nope. Trontastic.
Have you seen any good movies lately?
Well, obviously, the one that we're both still thinking about is called Talk to Me.
Jesus, man.
And A24 won a bidding war over the distribution rights to this movie against Universal.
Wow.
And they got a good one here, because it is, by all accounts, myself included, the best horror movie of 2023.
I loved it. I thought it was so cool. And I don't want to overhype it in terms of it being like a completely original concept.
No, there's definitely old tropes. Like it's a monkey paw situation.
Totally. I said the same thing
Yes.
as I was watching it. There's that, and then what was that Sam Raimi movie?
Drag Me to Hell.
Drag Me to Hell.
Yeah.
I thought there's some parts of that were there. But yeah, grisly, some very visceral violence.
One of my favorite parts was the visual aesthetic of the people while they were in the state. So
Yeah.
looking normal and then looking like completely contorted and writhing, just
Like you're possessed.
like you're possessed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool. Check it out. That one's good. I saw a good one last night. I texted you as you were watching Dreamscape. It's Theater Camp.
Theater Camp. Now I want to watch this.
It's a lot of fun. If you've had any association or known people who are in theater,
any drama nerds out there?
Drama nerds. There's a lot of poking fun, but there's also a celebration of that culture as well in the movie. It has Tatro. He's the YouTube kid who parlayed into a miniseries on YouTube a few years ago. I think it's Jimmy Tatro.
I have no idea who this is.
He's in it. He's quite good.
It's got a cool name, though.
The girl from the Shiva movie.
Oh, yeah.
She's in it, as is...
I like her.
Ben Platt, I think is his name.
Of course he is.
Ben Platt from the singing movies.
Yeah. Glee, the movie.
He was in a lot of those, and it's good. I thought it was a lot of fun. I laughed hysterically out loud at some of the fucking shit that they were saying.
What's our rating here? In terms of the MPAA.
MPAA?
Yeah.
At least PG-13. I would probably say possibly R.
Okay.
I don't think so. It would be R. Maybe PG-13. There's a lot of swearing.
Little raunchiness?
A lot of swearing.
Okay. I can get down with that. Do you think Michelle would like it?
I don't know. Michelle's a hard read.
That's true. Were you ever in a play as a kid?
I was in plays as a kid. I was in plays in high school, and then I started doing backstage work off and on in college. Like I would do tour management.
Gotcha.
Pick up heavy things and drive them places.
I was Oliver in our elementary school production of Oliver Twist.
Nice. Mm-hmm. There are some very talented young people in this movie too.
Okay,
that's worth watching. It's like really funny.
Shiva, baby.
Hey, it's fun to see some of these children. It takes place at a theater camp, I guess I should say. I should set the premise. And
that's also the title of the movie.
Yeah, obviously. But you have a lot of children in the cast.
Okay.
And there are some very, very good performers in there that I think there were ones I was like, that kid's going to be somebody, just clearly going to be a rising star kind of child. It's kind of like when Tremblay, when we first saw him in some stuff, we're like, that kid's...
Jacob Tremblay.
Yeah.
Room. He was in Room, right? He was the little boy in Room with Carol Danvers.
Carol Danvers.
All right. So... any other movies we need to check in?
Nothing that anybody cares about. I've been watching a lot of British film noirs from the 50s.
Let me see if I got one more.
And for some reason, I don't have Letterboxd on my phone.
Okay. I got one. It's called Jules. And it's a kind of an E.T. scenario. It stars Ben Kingsley and Jane Curtin. And Ben Kingsley is the older gentleman who is retired and lives alone and is possibly on the border of dementia.
Oh.
But he still goes to the town council meetings every week and voices his concerns. And then one day, an alien spacecraft crash lands in his backyard, ruining his azaleas.
Oh, wow.
And he is very open about it. He tells them at the town council meeting, he's like, a UFO crashed in my backyard. My azaleas are all messed up. And nobody believes him because he's old and they think he's a crackpot. And it turns out there's a living... what?
Just
there's a living...
I'm buying into this.
...alien in the craft that needs his help. And so just being a good dude, he takes this alien in. Now they call the alien Jules and they refer to him as he throughout the picture, but the alien is played by a woman.
Okay.
But it's also a very androgynous, gray, Pleiadian style alien. I liked it.
Okay.
And I thought it was cool that Jane Curtin is like sticking with her alien comedy roots.
Oh, yeah, right? Yeah,
you know?
after Third Rock.
And Coneheads.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, totally. I saw a good one at the recommendation of Red Letter Media. It's called The Passenger. Kyle Gallner is in it, and I told you about this, I think, last weekend. It plays a lot like a Fight Club kind of thing, where you've got this very meek teenage boy and his friend or coworker who's over the top and very much of
you have to wonder if he's the fairest.
Yeah, very much take life by the balls, don't take shit off of anybody kind of guy. And it's a true indie flick. I recommend watching it if you like small budget films where the actors actually drive the cars that they're in versus the old trick of
they actually have to drive their own cars.
Yeah, they had to drive their own damn cars. And I told you also that it looked like it was shot in the same town that Red Rocket was shot in.
Red Rocket.
So a lot of similar backdrops and scenery. And one that I didn't care for too much, I saw Vacation Friends 2.
Yeah.
Sequels are never a good thing, and this one proves it. I marginally liked the first one. I know you were kind of meh, take it or leave it.
I thought it was okay.
Yeah. I really enjoyed John Cena's performance in the first one. It let me see that he's got comedic chops, range. And that kind of played into his next comedy role, which was Peacemaker, which he's fantastic.
Yeah, very good.
So, but this movie just felt like it was just tired. From the word go, it was just predictable and dumb.
Well, I mean, they didn't have any writers because of the strike.
So they just put it out, just winged it.
Yeah. They had Drew Barrymore write it.
Oh yeah, because she's back at work, and the
getting all the
guild's
wrath.
Pissed and catching the wrath. All right, you got anything else for movies? You think you're done? All right,
I think so.
Let us know what you've seen. If you've seen something cool, send it our way. We'll give it a watch. We've got October coming up.
October's coming up, and we're doing an interesting take on some themes, right?
Knockoffs.
We're
going to be talking about the knockoffs of other iconic films. And as we do in October, we try to go hard. We're going to try to do every week a recording.
I cannot guarantee that I will be available every week.
It's okay. We've got the rogues gallery of people that will drop in. But I'm excited about some of these. Can
you give them a little sneaky peek?
Yeah, we're not necessarily doing horror as we have in the past few years, but we're going to do Jaws.
Yeah,
and their knockoffs. I've already acquired a copy of Orca for us to watch.
Big ass shark.
There are so many of those. I think we're going to do
Gremlins,
right? And their little knockoffs, as well as Alien.
Alien is a good one.
Haven't quite made up our minds about the fourth one though.
The original Alien tiptoes this line between horror and sci-fi, which hadn't really been done before that.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people did it.
Yep. So we're going to take a look at those films and their inferior knockoffs and see if any of them deserve a watch for the audience. But that's coming up. We're going to get into that very, very soon. It's going to be here before we know it. Travis, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I'm so glad to have you back in the shop.
It's been a dream.
And the weather's been fantastic.
Oh, it's going to be really nice tomorrow, too.
Oh, my God. I'm so glad this heat's broken. I hope it stays that way, but I know we probably have like 3 more heat waves to come through.
This is a false fall.
Yeah, don't get my hopes up. All right, everybody, we love you. Thank you so much for giving us a listen. Tell your friends. Please remember to rate, review, subscribe. We are Cinema Chop Shop on all the social media outlets.
Except for YouTube.
We're Cinema Chop Shop Podcast.
Yes.
And that thing still picks up people who view it.
That's awesome.
I think they're robots. I can't imagine somebody actually watching.
It's Kate Captcha.
Kate Captcha. Nice. If you have any requests, if you want us to do a show, let us know. Send us an email, cinemachopshop@gmail.com. We're checking it all the time.
Please remember to
watch,
shop,
retrofit. And I'll see you in your dreams.
In your dreams.